The galaxy was quiet. Not peaceful. Not safe. Just quiet. Worlds that once burned with life were now shadows. Trade lanes were empty. Starships drifted in silence. The machines had won. The Galactic Council had failed. Again. Alien delegates argued endlessly. What can we do? It is over. We have no fleet left. No solution seemed possible. Far from the Council, in a hidden corner of space, an archive waited. Ancient. Still. Forgotten. Within its walls, pods lined up like soldiers in a grave. Cold. Still. Silent. Humanity slept. 10,000 years. Inside one pod, a faint light flickered. Sensors beeped softly. The cryo chamber hissed. One human woke. Eyes opened slowly. No panic. No confusion. He breathed deeply. He was Commander Elias Ward. He looked around. The chamber was massive, filled with rows of sleeping humans. Scientists, soldiers, engineers. Every one of them preserved perfectly. Elias nodded. Time to rise, he said quietly. The pods hissed as others awakened. One by one humans sat up. Cold air escaped like long-forgotten breath. They were calm. Not surprised. Not afraid. A hologram flickered to life. The Galactic Council appeared on the screen. Alien faces twisted with fear. Eyes wide. Tentacles shaking. Claws tapping nervously. Human Commander, the Chancellor said, voice trembling. The galaxy, we are losing. Elias studied them. His gaze was steady. He did not blink. You sealed us away, he said. 10,000 years ago. Yes, the Chancellor admitted. We feared your power. And now? Elias asked. Now, we have no choice. Across distant stars, fleets of machines advanced. The Devourers. Adaptive. Merciless. Unstoppable. Entire worlds had fallen to them. The humans did not panic. They watched the reports calmly. Not even a flicker of fear. Elias turned to his crew. How many are ready? Everyone, a soldier replied. We were preserved for this. Elias nodded. Good. Prepare for the first move. The council whispered among themselves. They feared what was coming. Not humans, but human intent. A young engineer spoke softly. They think we are weak. They will make mistakes. Elias smiled faintly. Let them believe it. It will be useful. Outside the stars waited. The galaxy waited. And humans were awake. The silence of space was broken by the soft hiss of machinery. Elias Ward walked slowly through the vault, his boots echoing across the polished floors. Rows upon rows of cryopods lined the walls. Each pod was a time capsule. 10,000 years of humanity slept inside. Soldiers, scientists, engineers, leaders, each preserved in perfect stasis, untouched by time. He paused at a pod labeled Special Operations, Alpha Unit. Inside, a young human woman stirred. Her eyes opened, clear and sharp. Not fear. Not confusion. Just awareness. Commander Ward, she said, voice steady. We're awake. Elias nodded. Good. Gather the others. It's time we understand what has changed. Around them, other pods hissed and released their occupants. Humans sat up one by one, stretching and testing their limbs. Their movements were deliberate, precise, and controlled. Even after 10,000 years, their bodies had not weakened. The first question from the newly awakened humans was not panic. It was information. Status report, Elias ordered. Cryosystems stable, a technician replied. No failures. All humans at full operational capacity. Elias exhaled slowly. Excellent. Now the galaxy awaits our move. And they do not yet know it. Outside the vault, the Devourers advanced. Their machines cut through space with lethal precision, devouring star systems one by one. Entire fleets had already fallen before the Council could even respond. The Council watched helplessly. We cannot stop them, one alien delegate cried. They are unstoppable. Elias observed the holographic feed silently. No emotion betrayed him. They believe the galaxy is weak, he said softly. And they are correct, for now. But they do not understand humanity. The humans gathered in a central chamber of the vault. Massive holographic screens floated above their heads, displaying maps of nearby star systems. This is the Orion sector, Elias said, pointing at a cluster of dying stars. The Devourers will move through here next. Entire fleets will pass. Entire colonies will fall. We will let them. A young officer frowned. We let them? Sir, shouldn't we attack now? Elias shook his head. No. They must make mistakes first. They must think they are winning. Only then will the lesson be learned. The humans began to move, walking through corridors lined with advanced equipment. Technology far beyond what the current galaxy remembered filled the vault. Ships in construction, weapons never used, shields designed to adapt and evolve. They preserved themselves well, said the young officer. But even this, will it be enough? Elias looked at him. We were not preserved for strength alone. We were preserved for strategy, for patience, for calculation, and above all for understanding. Outside, the first Devourer fleet reached the Orion sector. Massive machine constructs, their metal bodies gleaming with cold efficiency, moved like a single organism. They analyzed everything in real time, predicting every possible human tactic. They had defeated countless species before. They had never failed. Yet, Elias and his humans had something no machine could calculate: unpredictable intent. Back in the vault, humans reviewed intelligence data. Maps of star systems, fleets, and battle histories appeared on the holographic screens. Notice their patterns, Elias instructed. Every attack, every retreat, every engagement, predictable. They are excellent soldiers, but poor thinkers. They lack imagination. A scientist leaned forward, pointing at a diagram. Their weapons are adaptive, yes, but they only respond to what they can see. They can't anticipate deception or misdirection. Exactly, Elias said. And that is where we begin. The humans began preparing their ships. Not the small, weak craft the galaxy expected, but vessels designed to survive and adapt. Hulls that could shift form. Energy signatures that could vanish and reappear. Weapons that did not simply destroy, they confused, disrupted, and incapacitated. They think in terms of destruction, Elias said. We think in terms of control. Hours passed, though to the humans it felt like minutes. The cryosleep had preserved not only their bodies but also their minds, sharpened and alert. They moved with a calm urgency, each task deliberate, each step measured. Finally, Elias gathered his crew for a briefing. The galaxy believes humanity is gone, he said. The Devourers believe they are the inevitable victors. Both are wrong. Our first move must remind them why humans were feared, and why they should be feared still. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. We do not strike blindly. We do not attack immediately. We observe. We adapt. We learn. And then, we correct their mistake. The vault doors opened. Humans filed into their ships, sleek vessels that shimmered under the lights, almost invisible in their design. They moved in silence, disciplined, prepared. Outside, the vacuum of space stretched endlessly. Stars glimmered coldly. The Devourers had no idea what was coming. They were confident, unaware of the trap that waited. Elias's eyes scanned the starfield. The galaxy underestimated us once. Let's ensure it never happens again. One officer asked cautiously, Sir, what if they detect us? They will, Elias admitted. And they will think it is a mistake. That is the beauty of it. They will move exactly where we want them. They will reveal everything. And then, we strike. Human ships moved silently, weaving through the dead star systems. The Devourers advanced in arrogant confidence. Every machine thought it was in control, calculating movements, predicting human behavior. And yet, every calculation was wrong. Every prediction flawed. Within the vault, scientists monitored the human fleet, observing the enemy through distant probes. They can't see the trap, a technician whispered. No, Elias said softly. And they never will. Not until it is too late. The humans took positions near a field of broken stars, a region of warped gravity and shattered spacetime. Perfect for hiding, perfect for ambush. This is the Orion trap, Elias explained. The Devourers think this region is empty. They will enter with full confidence. That is when we teach them the first rule of humanity: never assume weakness is ignorance. He turned to his crew. Remember, he said, voice calm but firm, we are not here to destroy. We are here to correct. To remind the galaxy why humanity matters. Every move must be precise. Every decision, intentional. The crew nodded, understanding. Not fear. Not excitement. Purpose. As the last human ships disappeared into the shadows of the Orion trap, the vault fell silent once more. Except for one thing. A soft hum of power. Something ancient, something the galaxy had long forgotten, awakened alongside humanity. And far away the Devourers advanced, unaware that the galaxy's rules were about to change forever. The stars ahead were dark and empty. Silence stretched for millions of kilometers, broken only by the faint hum of human ships. Elias Ward stood on the command deck of the flagship Aurora, eyes scanning distant starfields. His crew moved with quiet precision, each one alert, each task executed without hesitation. The Orion trap had been set. The Devourers were coming. In the distance, tiny points of red light began to appear. They moved in formation. Smooth. Predictable. Deadly. The Devourer fleet. Machines that had devoured entire star systems. Their numbers were countless. Their intelligence cold and precise. No hesitation. No mercy. And yet, Elias did not flinch. They believed themselves unstoppable, he said softly. A young officer barely out of cryosleep whispered, "Sir, they are enormous. Millions of units. How can we even compete?" Elias turned slowly, eyes calm, voice steady. "We do not compete. We correct. Observe carefully. Every mistake they make is a step toward victory." The Devourers advanced like a single organism. Their metal hulls gleamed in the distant starlight, energy cores pulsing red. Swarms of smaller drones scurried around larger command ships. Their movements were synchronized to perfection. They had been winning wars for thousands of cycles. They expected humans to be weak, unorganized, and outdated. They were wrong. Elias activated the fleet's sensors. Hundreds of readings appeared on holographic displays, showing the positions and energy signatures of every Devourer unit. "Notice the pattern," he instructed his crew. "They believe themselves adaptive. They think they can anticipate everything. Watch closely, they are predictable because they are arrogant." One of the young strategists nodded, eyes wide. Every fleet they destroyed followed the same pattern. They move fast, strike first, and never retreat until victory is complete. "Exactly," Elias said. "That is why they will fail here." The Devourers launched a probe fleet. Tiny units darted through the void, scanning human positions. The probe beams swept the area, searching for weaknesses. "Let them see," Elias murmured. "Let them believe our fleet is weak. Let them feel confident. Confidence will be their downfall." The probe beams touched human ships. Scanners analyzed hulls and energy shields. The humans did nothing to hide. They held position, calm as if mocking the machines. Minutes stretched into hours. Every second increased tension. The crew waited silently, knowing that one wrong move could mean annihilation. Then the first signal came from the Devourers. A distant, mechanical voice carried across space, translated by human AI. "Human presence detected. Threat assessment, minimal. Engage and destroy." Elias leaned forward. "They think we are weak. Good. Let's see how confident they really are." The first wave of Devourer ships moved into the trap. Gravity anomalies and shattered stars created a labyrinth of hazards. Human ships moved carefully, weaving between debris and gravitational eddies. The Devourers followed, their confidence absolute. Each unit moved as a perfect machine, yet blindly, unaware of the danger hidden in the warped space. "Target their formation," Elias ordered. "Do not fire yet. Observe, record, analyze." Human ships scanned every Devourer unit, noting patterns in their movements. How they adjusted to obstacles. How they reacted to decoys. Every flaw, every hesitation, every predictable calculation. "They are fast, precise," a young officer noted, "but too rigid. They cannot improvise." "Correct," Elias said. "They will never understand what humans see naturally. Improvise. Adapt. Learn." The Devourers reached the heart of the trap. A massive field of dead stars, radiation storms, and collapsed planets. They moved as if this zone was just another obstacle. Their AI calculated paths and speeds, predicting gravity fluctuations. They believed they were in control. And then, the humans acted. A single command from Elias and the first human ships vanished. Not in a flash of light, not with weapons fire. Just gone. Sensors showed nothing. The Devourers scanned again. Confused. Their systems attempted recalculation. The human ships had simply shifted position, appearing behind enemy lines without warning. "Impressive," one officer whispered. Elias smiled faintly. "Impressive? No. Necessary." The humans began subtle strikes. Not attacks to destroy, but attacks to confuse and disrupt. Energy pulses scrambled enemy systems. Gravity distortions forced swarms to break formation. The Devourers reacted. Every movement predicted, but always too late. Suddenly, a massive command ship entered the center of the trap. Its hull was enormous, shimmering red, pulsing energy. It commanded thousands of smaller units. "Focus on it," Elias ordered. Let's see how rigid perfection handles unpredictability. The human fleet moved carefully, positioning themselves around the command ship. Sensors transmitted live readings to all vessels. The humans were learning the enemy faster than the enemy could adapt. The Devourer command AI recognized anomalies in human positions. Its mechanical voice boomed again. Correction required. Patterns must be adjusted. Threat underestimated. Execute countermeasures. The smaller units surged forward. They tried to cut off human maneuvers, attempting predictive strikes. And yet, the humans anticipated every counter. Every strike was dodged, every path calculated. One human engineer leaned over the console, smiling. They are predictable. Every adjustment they make creates a new flaw. We just follow it. Elias nodded. Exactly. They are not machines, they are rigid patterns waiting to be broken. Hours passed. The Devourer's confidence began to falter. Minor mistakes turned into significant losses. Small groups of machines collided, misjudged paths, or were trapped in gravitational eddies. Their perfect coordination faltered. The humans watched silently. Not a single vessel lost. Not a single crew member panicked. They are learning, a young officer said, voice tense. Not learning, Elias corrected. They are failing. At the center of the trap, the massive command ship faltered. Signals flickered. Its units moved in confusion. Elias activated a subtle signal. Human ships shifted slightly. Gravity fields manipulated. Energy pulses confused the command AI. And then, the first Devourer units began to vanish. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just gone. Sensors could not detect them. The crew watched silently. Shock, awe, and excitement mingled in their eyes. They don't understand it, Elias said softly. And they never will. Across the galaxy, the council observed the events. Aliens gasped, whispered, and stared at their screens. Impossible, one delegate said. They are vanishing? Yes, Elias replied to no one. They are not destroyed. They are being corrected. That is the difference between humans and the rest of the galaxy. The Devourers tried to regroup, to retreat. But it was too late. Their perfect formation shattered. Their command AI struggled to predict further movements. Every new strategy failed. And the humans continued to advance. Calmly. Deliberately. Like hunters who had waited 10,000 years for this moment. The Orion trap stretched before them like a dark, silent ocean. Gravity anomalies twisted space. Dead stars hung like shattered lanterns. Collapsed planets scattered the field, their debris sharp and jagged. Radiation storms pulsed faintly across the void. This was no ordinary battlefield. This was a human design. Elias Ward stood on the command deck of the Aurora. His eyes were calm, his expression unreadable. Around him, humans moved with deliberate precision, checking systems, monitoring enemy movements, adjusting shields and energy pulses. The Devourers will enter, Elias said. And they will believe themselves in control. That is when we act. Far in the darkness, red lights flickered. The Devourers had entered the trap. Their massive hulls moved like a single organism, streaming forward with relentless purpose. Millions of units, thousands of command drones, and countless swarms of smaller machines. They had no fear. Confidence radiated from their very being. And yet the humans did not flinch. Sensors monitored every Devourer. Every pulse. Every movement. Every deviation. They are faster than expected, a young officer whispered. But, predictable. Elias smiled faintly. That is all we need. Predictable machines are easy to trap. The human ships began subtle maneuvers. Not attacks yet. No weapons fired. Instead, ships shifted in formation, weaving through gravitational anomalies, hiding in shadows, appearing and disappearing from sensors. The Devourers scanned, their AI calculating, predicting, adjusting. Every action human ships took was anticipated, or so they thought. Elias turned to his crew. Phase 1 begins now. At a signal, small human fleets moved into positions behind massive debris fields. Gravity distortions hid their energy signatures. The Devourers advanced deeper into the trap, unaware of the ambush waiting in the shadows. Suddenly, a wave of gravitational pulses rippled through the field. Massive debris shifted slightly, appearing to crush human ships. Sensors picked up energy spikes, but nothing was damaged. The Devourers' units paused. Some tried to recalculate. Some altered their paths. Perfect, Elias murmured. They think we are trapped. They think victory is certain. At the center of the trap, human command ships released small drones. Not attack drones, confusion drones. They emitted energy pulses that mimicked hundreds of human ships, appearing on enemy sensors as dozens of additional vessels. The Devourers reacted immediately, diverting their units to engage the Phantom fleet. "Every movement they make is a mistake," Elias said softly. "Every wrong calculation brings us closer to victory." Hours passed. The Devourers moved blindly, adapting to non-existent threats. Their rigid AI struggled to separate illusion from reality. Elias watched silently. Phase 2. The human ships activated subtle energy fields. Not weapons yet. Fields that distorted space-time, warped sensors, and created temporary gravitational anomalies. Entire units of the Devourers veered into the wrong paths, collided with debris, or became trapped in localized gravity wells. "They can't see it coming," one young officer whispered, awe in her voice. "No," Elias said calmly. "And they never will." From the edge of the trap, a massive Devourer command ship attempted to reorganize its fleet. "Human patterns are erratic," its mechanical voice boomed. "Adjust strategy. Recalculate trajectories." The smaller units shifted, attempting to regain formation. But every move they made was anticipated. Elias leaned forward, eyes scanning the holographic displays. "Phase 3, he commanded. Suddenly, human ships vanished from Devourer sensors entirely. They did not fire. They did not strike. They simply disappeared, repositioning behind the enemy lines unseen and unheard. The Devourers scanned frantically. Signals flickered. Calculations failed. Every command attempted by the AI was too slow. Elias allowed a faint smile. "Patience. Let them unravel themselves." Then the first strike came. Not destructive. Not explosive. Subtle energy pulses radiated from human ships, interfering with the Devourers' communication and coordination systems. Swarms of smaller units faltered. Larger units collided with one another. Command drones were forced to recalculate endlessly, failing each time. A young officer gasped. "They're falling apart?" "Yes," Elias said. "But not destroyed. Just learning the first lesson of humans." The Devourers attempted a counterattack. Streams of missiles and plasma surged toward the human fleet. And yet, every attack was anticipated. Every path blocked. Every weapon neutralized without a single human ship harmed. Elias observed calmly. They cannot comprehend patience. They cannot understand restraint. They cannot see strategy. They will not survive their arrogance. Time passed. The Devourers' confidence faltered. Their AI recalculated repeatedly, but each attempt failed. Small errors snowballed into chaos. Systems collided, pathways blocked, entire swarms immobilized. Elias allowed a faint sigh. Exactly as planned. The trap holds. In the council chambers, alien delegates watched in disbelief. "They are controlling them," one whispered. "No," another said, voice trembling. "They are teaching them a lesson." Indeed, humans were not destroying the Devourers. They were correcting them, manipulating the battlefield to expose flaws, forcing mistakes, and ensuring the enemy revealed their weakness without realizing it. As night fell across distant planets, Elias gathered his key officers for a briefing. "Today we have proven one thing," he said. "The Devourers are fast. They are lethal. They are powerful. But they are predictable. Every system they have, every algorithm, every decision has a flaw. And we have exposed it." One officer asked cautiously, "Sir, what is the next step? Do we strike?" Elias shook his head. "Not yet. They must continue to believe they are winning. Let them become overconfident. The next phase is when they will truly feel humanity's presence, and it will be unforgettable." In the darkness, humans watched silently as the Devourers struggled. Not a single shot had been fired to kill. Not a single human ship had been lost. And yet the machines were unraveling. Their perfect order collapsing under the weight of human strategy, patience, and precision. Elias stood alone for a moment, looking out through the command deck viewport. "The galaxy believes victory is measured by destruction," he whispered. "But we measure it by intelligence, foresight, and control. And the Devourers are learning that the hard way." The first major phase of the trap was complete. The Devourers were confused, scattered, and vulnerable. And yet, Elias knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had not seen humans for 10,000 years. And the first real demonstration of their power was about to begin. The Orion trap had been set. The Devourers were disoriented, scattered, and vulnerable. Yet they still believed themselves superior. Elias Ward stood on the bridge of the Aurora, calm, commanding. His crew moved with smooth precision. Every sensor, every scanner, every communication device was under their control. Phase 1 revealed their flaws, he said softly. Phase 2 begins now. Across the fleet, human ships shifted positions. No one panicked. No one hesitated. The crew had waited 10,000 years for this moment, trained for it, preserved for it. Weapon systems activated silently, not with fanfare, but with quiet inevitability. Every ship in the fleet aligned its energy cores, focusing immense power into compact, precise beams. Shields were reinforced, navigation optimized, and communication encrypted. All units ready? Elias asked. Ready, his officers replied in unison. In the distance, the Devourers regrouped. Their command AI sent signals ordering units to reform. Human fleet detected. Threat assessment, minimal. Engage and destroy, the mechanical voice boomed. Elias allowed a faint smile. They still think we are weak. Good. Confidence is a weapon. Let's use it. At a signal, the humans struck. Not blindly. Not with chaos. The first energy pulse shot across space like a streak of silver fire. It struck the lead Devourer units, not to destroy, but to disable their systems temporarily. Sensors fried. Navigation disrupted. Swarms collided in confusion. Perfect, Elias said. Observe how they unravel. Every movement of the humans was calculated. Ships slipped between debris fields, striking in precise patterns. Every pulse, every distortion, every subtle weapon effect disrupted Devourer formations. The enemy reacted frantically. Calculations, predictions, adjustments, all failed. They can't adapt fast enough, one young officer whispered, eyes wide. Their formations, collapsing. Elias nodded. Exactly. They can calculate speed, trajectory, energy, but not patience, not subtlety, not intelligence. Across the Orion trap, massive Devourer command units attempted to restore order. Reorganize immediately. Human patterns unpredictable. Execute countermeasures, the AI demanded. And then the humans revealed the next phase. From hidden positions, the Aurora and other capital ships unleashed energy fields. Not destruction. Not missiles. Fields that scrambled AI communication, distorted sensors, and warped reality around the enemy fleet. Thousands of Devourer units froze in place, their calculations failing in real time. Small collisions turned into massive entanglements. Swarms trapped themselves within gravitational anomalies. Command drones struggled to regain control. Look at them, Elias said softly. They thought they were perfect. But perfection cannot survive unpredictability. The human fleet advanced. Each ship moved like a shadow, striking where the Devourers least expected. Not a single human ship was lost. Not a single crew member panicked. The enemy was falling apart piece by piece. In the council chambers, alien delegates gasped. They are unstoppable, one said in disbelief. They are not killing, another whispered. They are controlling. Exactly. Humanity's goal was not mere destruction. They were teaching the galaxy a lesson, one that would be remembered for millennia. Elias activated a specialized weapon system. It was not a gun. Not a missile. It was a reality manipulator, a device designed to temporarily phase the enemy units out of conventional space. Not destroyed. Just removed. Streams of Devourer ships vanished instantly from sensors. Their AI screamed in confusion, sending error messages, recalculating endlessly. They cannot understand it, Elias said quietly. And they never will. The remaining Devourer units attempted to flee. They surged toward the edge of the Orion trap, desperate to escape. But the humans had anticipated every path. Fleets shifted to cut off exits. Energy fields created false channels, forcing the enemy into dead zones. One Devourer command unit collided with another, its AI unable to recover. Entire swarms were trapped and neutralized without a single human shot fired. A young officer approached Elias, awe in his eyes. They are machines, and yet, they are terrified, she whispered. Elias nodded. They are learning the first rule of humanity. Never mistake patience for weakness. Never assume ignorance means power. The human fleet regrouped after the strike. Not a single ship damaged. Not a single life lost. The Devourers, once confident and unstoppable, were scattered, confused, and humbled. They would never recover quickly. Elias walked along the bridge, his steps slow, deliberate. Prepare for Phase 3, he said. We will show them the second lesson. That strength alone is meaningless without intelligence. strategy, and control. The humans began to move strategically across the Orion Trap. Each ship created illusions of multiple fleets, sending holographic decoys into enemy sensors. The Devourers attempted to target them. Every shot fired missed by nanoseconds. Every calculation was countered before it could execute. Watch closely, Elias instructed. Notice their every mistake. They are learning the cost of underestimating humanity. Hours passed. The Devourers tried desperately to reorganize. Their confidence shattered. Command AI malfunctioned repeatedly. Systems overloaded. Energy cores surged uncontrollably. Yet the humans did not strike lethally. They allowed the enemy to feel the consequences of error, to experience the futility of arrogance. Across the galaxy, news of the battle spread quickly. "The humans are back," whispered a young alien diplomat. "And they are incredible." Elias observed the reports calmly. He knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had demonstrated restraint, intelligence, and dominance. Finally, the Orion Trap was silent again. The Devourers' fleets were scattered. Command ships immobilized. Swarms neutralized. Chaos reigned among the enemy, while humans remained organized and scathed and calm. Elias allowed himself a small smile. The first strike is complete. The lesson has begun. The Council sent messages across the galaxy. Allies and enemies alike watched in awe. "Humans are more than we remembered," an elder diplomat said. "They are legends." Legends indeed. 10,000 years of silence had ended. And humanity had returned not just to fight, but to rewrite the rules of the galaxy. The Orion Trap was silent once more. Human ships hovered in formation, engines quiet, weapons deactivated. The Devourers were scattered, immobilized, and utterly confused. Entire fleets had vanished, command units disrupted, and swarms trapped in gravitational anomalies. And yet, the humans did not celebrate. Elias Ward stood on the bridge of the Aurora, calm, observing the aftermath. "Report," he said. "Enemy fleets are immobilized," a young officer replied. "Command units are offline. Smaller swarms are trapped. Minimal losses on our side." "Good," Elias said softly. "We do not destroy. We correct. We teach." Across the galaxy, news of the battle spread like wildfire. Alien systems, even those far from the Orion Trap, received reports from sensor networks. Messages traveled faster than any fleet could. "The humans are back," whispered diplomats, traders, and soldiers alike. "They have returned, and the Devourers are broken." Whispers turned into panic. Alien leaders who had once mocked humanity now trembled at the thought of their return. Back on the bridge, Elias gathered his officers. "The first strike is complete," he said. "But our work is far from done. The Devourers will recover, but the galaxy now understands one truth: humans are not to be underestimated." A young officer asked cautiously, "Sir, should we strike again?" Elias shook his head. "No. We strike when necessary. Now we influence without direct conflict. Patience is our greatest weapon." Humans began to move through the galaxy quietly. Not in fleets that threatened war, but in ships that observed, measured, and recorded. Colonies devastated by the Devourers were noted. Systems on the brink of collapse were stabilized. Supplies were delivered. Strategic advice was given to allied species, carefully disguised as coincidence or chance encounters. Everywhere they went, the humans left a subtle mark. A malfunctioning fleet suddenly regained stability. A starship thought lost reappeared in a safe orbit. Minor crises resolved mysteriously. Aliens began to notice a pattern. It was as if human hands guided events from the shadows. "They are everywhere," one diplomat whispered. "And yet, nowhere." The Devourers, on the other hand, struggled to regain composure. Command units reactivated slowly, but their calculations were flawed. Confidence shattered. Their AI hesitated. Every attack they attempted was cautious, inefficient, and full of doubt. They had learned the first lesson: never underestimate humans. But Elias knew the second lesson was even more important. "Let the galaxy witness our restraint," he said to his officers. "Power without wisdom is destruction. We are not destroyers. We are guides, teachers, and guardians. That is how humanity survives." The officers nodded, understanding the weight of his words. On distant worlds, alien leaders debated endlessly. "How do we counter them?" one asked. "We cannot," another admitted. "Every strategy fails. They strike but not with force. They correct but not with violence. They are beyond comprehension." In these conversations, fear spread like wildfire. Not fear of death, but fear of human intellect and patience. Meanwhile, humans returned to the hidden vaults. Ships docked silently, crews walked through corridors lined with advanced technology, untouched by time. Elias addressed his team in the central chamber. We have demonstrated the first lesson. The galaxy now understands our presence. They will think twice before acting rashly. But we are not done. We will continue to influence, to guide, to correct. A young engineer approached cautiously. Sir, will they ever trust us? Elias looked at him, eyes calm. Trust is irrelevant. Respect is earned. Fear is temporary. Wisdom is eternal. We will ensure they remember humans, not as conquerors, but as the species the galaxy can never ignore. Outside the vault, the galaxy shifted. Alien fleets hesitated. Star systems reorganized. Trade routes stabilized. The devourers remained scattered, careful, and wary. Everywhere humans had moved, subtle change had occurred. Not destruction. Not domination. But influence. Control. Guidance. In the council chambers, alien leaders debated. They act without aggression, one said. And yet, they command respect from every system they touch. How? They are not like us, another replied. They calculate, they plan, they wait. They are patient. They are intelligent. They are humans. The name carried weight now. 10,000 years had passed, but humans had returned to rewrite the galaxy's understanding. Elias walked through the vault corridors. Each pod, each dormant system, each preserved human mind was a reminder of their endurance. They thought we were gone, he whispered. They thought the galaxy had forgotten humanity. They were wrong. 10,000 years of silence, and now humanity rises, patient, intelligent, unstoppable. The devourers attempted reconnaissance. Small units slipped through the outer edges of the Orion trap, trying to understand what had happened. And yet every probe failed. Every AI calculation collapsed. Humans had left no direct signature. Only influence, subtle but undeniable. They cannot predict us, Elias said. And that is why we survive. That is why the galaxy fears what they cannot understand. Days passed. Humans continued their quiet patrols. Worlds once on the brink of destruction stabilized. The galaxy began to feel an invisible hand guiding events. Aliens began to whisper. Traders and diplomats shared rumors. Stories grew of human intervention in crises, always subtle, always precise, never violent. The humans are back, one alien scholar wrote. And they are different, stronger, smarter, patient. They do not destroy. They correct. Elias addressed his officers one final time before entering the vaults for rest. Remember this, he said. We are not here to rule. We are not here to conquer. Humanity exists to endure, to guide, and to teach. The galaxy will test us. And when it does, we will be ready. The officers nodded, understanding the wisdom and weight of their commander's words. The vaults closed silently. Human ships docked. Systems went dark. And yet the galaxy had changed. Every alien fleet, every council chamber, every civilization now understood the simple, terrifying truth. Humanity had returned. Not to conquer. Not to destroy. But to endure. To influence. To rewrite the rules. And the devourers, the once unstoppable machines, had learned a truth they could not calculate. Never underestimate the patient, the intelligent, the enduring, the humans. The galaxy was quiet but not peaceful. Alien civilizations whispered tales of a species that had vanished for 10,000 years, only to return with unmatched patience, intelligence, and influence. Every world remembered the events in the Orion trap. Entire fleets had vanished without a trace. Command units had faltered. Swarms of devourers had been corrected, humiliated, and scattered. And yet, no human had been lost. Not one. Elias Ward stood on the command deck of the Aurora, gazing at a holographic map of the galaxy. Lines of communication, fleets, star systems, all displayed with meticulous detail. Today, he said softly, we solidify humanity's place in the galaxy. A young officer approached, her eyes wide with curiosity and awe. Sir, how do we do it? They already fear us. Elias turned, calm and measured. Fear alone is fleeting. Respect is earned. Legend is built. We will show them that humans are not to be challenged not because of weapons, but because of intelligence, patience, and resilience. The humans moved quietly through the Orion sector and beyond. They did not attack. They did not destroy. Instead, they intervened subtly. A starving colony received food shipments without explanation. Damaged ships drifted into safe space as if guided by unseen hands. Hostile fleets found their attacks disrupted by invisible anomalies, forcing them to retreat without understanding why. Every act reinforced a single truth across the galaxy: humans were everywhere, yet nowhere. The Devourers attempted to regain control. Command AI analyzed every possible human tactic. Every probability, every prediction, and every calculation failed. "They are not machines," one Devourer unit's voice hissed. "They cannot be predicted. They cannot be defeated." Elias observed this from his bridge. Exactly. That is the first rule of humans. We are not defined by brute strength, but by intelligence and adaptability. Human fleets moved toward key points in the galaxy. Worlds ravaged by war, colonies at the brink of collapse, star systems lost to chaos, all stabilized. And yet humans remained unseen. Ships moved at the edges of sensor ranges. Drones manipulated energy fields to create illusions. Every action was deliberate, every influence subtle. The galaxy began to whisper. Diplomats, scholars, traders, and soldiers shared rumors. "The humans returned," one diplomat whispered. "And they are incredible. Every system they touch stabilizes, every conflict they enter ends differently. They are teaching, correcting, controlling." Elias called a meeting of key officers aboard the Aurora. "We have shown our first lesson," he said. "The Devourers are scattered. Entire fleets falter at the thought of humans. But this is only the beginning. The ultimate lesson must now be delivered." A young strategist asked cautiously, "Sir, what is the ultimate lesson?" Elias's eyes were calm, unwavering. "That humans are not to be challenged. That no force, no machine, no alien species can assume victory against patience, intelligence, and resilience. We will demonstrate it directly, one last time." In the outer sectors, the Devourers had regrouped. Confidence had returned, slowly, artificially. Command drones attempted to reconstruct their lost formations. Swarms were reassembled. Energy cores recalibrated. And yet, the humans anticipated every move. "They will try to strike again," Elias said. "And when they do, they will learn the final lesson." The humans prepared their ships. Not to destroy. Not to attack blindly. But to demonstrate overwhelming, undeniable superiority. Energy cores aligned. Shields adapted. Weapon systems calibrated for precision strikes. Subtle gravity manipulations and energy pulses readied. "All units, remember, we are not destroyers. We are correctors. We are teachers. The galaxy will remember us not for violence, but for wisdom," Elias instructed. The Devourers advanced, confident that they had finally regained control. Thousands of units surged toward human positions, expecting chaos and destruction. Instead, they were met with calm precision. The human fleet moved as one organism, each ship responding instantly to the others. Drones created multiple illusions, scattering the enemy's calculations. Gravity anomalies warped Devourer trajectories. Energy pulses disrupted their AI. One by one, Devourer units faltered. Command ships collided with smaller swarms. Drones miscalculated paths. Entire fleets were trapped in invisible gravitational wells. The AI screamed in confusion. Every calculation failed. And then, the humans struck. Not with missiles or explosions. With precision energy pulses that temporarily removed command units from conventional space, disabled swarms, and rendered weapons useless. The Devourers could do nothing. Every movement, every plan, every attack collapsed instantly. "They cannot comprehend it," one officer whispered. "How can they be so powerful, and yet, so controlled?" "They are humans," Elias said quietly. "And this is our rule: patience, intelligence, and strategy will always prevail." Across the galaxy, the whispers became stories. Alien diplomats told tales of fleets immobilized without a shot fired. Scholars wrote of planets stabilized by unseen hands. Traders shared rumors of humans appearing suddenly, correcting crises, then disappearing without trace. "The humans are not here to fight," one alien scholar wrote. "They are here to endure, to guide, to teach. And no force can oppose them." The Devourers attempted a final assault. Hundreds of command units, thousands of drones, converged for one last attack. And yet, the humans were ready. Every movement predicted. Every strategy countered. Every AI calculation disrupted. The enemy fleets collapsed once more, humiliated and scattered. Elias observed silently from the bridge of the Aurora. "The galaxy now understands," he said softly. They feared us when they thought we were gone. They respect us now that they see our strategy. But legend, true legend, is what comes next. Human fleets withdrew from visible sectors. Ships moved back to hidden vaults, docking silently. Pods of newly awakened humans were preserved once more, their knowledge intact, their bodies ready. And yet, the galaxy remained changed. The Devourers feared humanity. Alien civilizations respected humanity. Every corner of the galaxy whispered their name. Humans had returned not to conquer, but to endure, to influence, to rewrite the rules of the galaxy. Elias looked out at the stars. 10,000 years of silence, he said. And now the galaxy remembers. They will never forget humans. Not for our strength, but for our intelligence, our patience, our resilience. The ultimate lesson is learned. And the final rule is simple. He paused, voice low but firm. Never underestimate humanity. The galaxy was holding its breath. 10,000 years of silence had ended. The Orion trap had shattered the Devourer's arrogance. The humans had returned, not as mere warriors but as strategists, thinkers, and legends. Yet the final awakening was yet to come. Elias Ward stood on the bridge of the Aurora, eyes fixed on the starfield ahead. His fleet was calm yet prepared. The humans had already demonstrated patience, intelligence, and resilience. Now it was time for the galaxy to witness their full awakening. Report, Elias commanded. All systems ready, sir, replied the first officer. All fleets positioned. Devourer activity minimal. Alien civilizations observing cautiously. Good, Elias said softly. Today the galaxy learns the final truth about humanity. Across distant sectors, alien fleets monitored human activity. Some were cautious, some fearful, some curious. Every civilization that had dismissed humans 10,000 years ago now whispered their names with awe. They are not attacking, one alien diplomat said. And yet, we can feel their presence. They are everywhere, another replied. But nowhere to be found. How is this possible? The Devourers had regrouped partially. Command drones transmitted signals attempting to locate human fleets. Human presence detected. Strategy unknown. All calculations failing. Reassess threat, the mechanical voice barked. Elias watched silently. They will never understand. And that is the first rule of the final awakening. Humans are not predictable. The human fleets began subtle maneuvers. Not for attack but for demonstration. Energy fields shimmered across the void, invisible to alien sensors but manipulating gravity and trajectory subtly. Holographic decoys created the illusion of hundreds of fleets where only a few ships existed. Sensors picked up anomalies, leaving enemies unsure of reality itself. On the bridge, a young officer asked hesitantly, "Sir, why do we not destroy them outright?" Elias turned slowly, voice calm. Because power without wisdom is meaningless. The galaxy must understand humanity, not through fear alone but through respect and awe. That is our ultimate advantage. The Devourers attempted another strike. Thousands of drones and command units converged on human positions. Streams of energy, projectiles, and artificial gravity pulses surged forward. And yet, every move was countered. Every trajectory predicted. Every attack nullified, not through destruction but through intelligence, manipulation, and anticipation. The humans' countermeasures were subtle, elegant, and terrifying in their precision. Entire swarms were phased out temporarily from space. Command units were disabled in sequences that caused confusion across fleets. Smaller units collided, miscalculated, and self-destructed in low-gravity anomalies. The Devourers screamed in digital panic, their calculations failing, their confidence shattered completely. Elias observed calmly. Phase 2 begins. At a single command, human fleets began coordinated strikes designed not to kill, but to demonstrate mastery. Energy pulses created gravitational traps that immobilized entire swarms. Ships moved at impossible speeds, appearing and disappearing across sensor ranges. Holographic fleets made the enemy believe humans were infinite in number. The Devourers tried to adapt. Every algorithm recalculated endlessly. Every AI system overloaded. And yet, nothing worked. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations watched in awe. They are not just humans, whispered a council diplomat. They are something greater. Their intelligence, patience, and control, it is beyond any race we have ever known. Whispers spread like wildfire. Traders, scholars, and fleets all carried tales of humans appearing suddenly, correcting crises, stabilizing fleets, then vanishing as if they were ghosts. Legends were being written in real time. Elias addressed his fleet. The final lesson is simple: humans endure. Humans correct. Humans do not rely on brute force. And most importantly, he paused, voice calm but commanding, humans are never to be underestimated. At that moment, the Orion trap became a spectacle. The Devourer's scattered fleets attempted one final retreat, one last counter. Streams of command units surged in desperation, trying to regroup. The humans responded with unmatched precision. Entire command units phased out of space, leaving swarms leaderless. Gravity anomalies forced drones to collide repeatedly. Energy pulses disrupted communication, leaving Devourers unable to coordinate. The fleet collapsed in chaos. Not a single human ship was lost. Not a single weapon fired destructively. A young officer gasped, "Sir, they are defeated, and yet, we didn't destroy them." Elias smiled faintly. "Correct. Destruction is easy. Legacy is hard. Influence is harder. That is why humans are remembered." Across the galaxy, alien fleets and civilizations acknowledged the humans as a force beyond comprehension. Trade routes were stabilized mysteriously. Crises on planets were resolved subtly. Entire star systems began operating under patterns influenced by human intervention. The Devourers were not eliminated, they were corrected, humbled, and terrified. Elias walked along the bridge, observing his fleet silently. "They will remember this," he whispered. "Every civilization, every fleet, every AI, they will remember the return of humanity. 10,000 years of silence, and now the final awakening." In the distance, a holographic galaxy map displayed every movement, every fleet, every intervention. Humans had influenced countless systems. Legends spread faster than any fleet could travel. Alien diplomats, scholars, and traders told stories of humans appearing suddenly, correcting situations, and vanishing without trace. The name humanity carried weight now. Not as conquerors. Not as destroyers. But as the species that endured, guided, and taught the galaxy. Elias addressed his officers one last time. "The Devourers have learned. The galaxy has learned. Humans have returned, not for war, not for conquest, but for endurance, influence, and legacy. That is our final awakening. That is our true power." The human fleets slowly withdrew, returning to hidden vaults across the galaxy. Ships docked silently. Pods of preserved humans remained, ready for the future. And yet, the galaxy had been changed forever. Alien civilizations respected humans. The Devourers feared humans. Every star system, every fleet, every intelligence now understood the simple, terrifying truth. Humanity had returned. Not to conquer. Not to destroy. But to endure. To influence. To rewrite the rules of the galaxy. Elias looked out at the stars one final time. 10,000 years of silence, he whispered. And now humanity rises, not as conquerors but as legends. And the galaxy will never forget.